All right, everybody, welcome to another Workshop Wednesdays. I've got Carlo here. He is Champ 2 and playing 2v2s. If you can't see him in the replay already on the very back left, he's playing against Kuxir, who apparently is unranked in these. So should be interesting to see how someone plays in against a pro in their placement matches. Here we go. Good decision to go for the ball and not boost. Your teammate's like chasing so hard right now, dude. Your teammate's playing really weird. Play that to the right. Good. Actually, so this one's tough, right? So I get your thought process. So there's two difficulties with this. And for some reason this isn't working. I want there. Why can't I select the dot? There. I don't know why that didn't work for some reason. So you have a difficulty here, right? You're moving that way, which is fine. Also, that's the straightest line I've ever drawn in my life. You play wall. This player is going to go and challenge it. You keep the ball. Kuxir is going to challenge this way, right? The only thing I can think of if you do this perfectly is if you come across, get underneath it, and then flick it immediately, right? Like, it's difficult, but you have to get underneath this and then flick it in between both of them, assuming Kuxir doesn't get there in time. It's kind of a really rough spot. Instinctively, I say yes, play wall, because you're just trying to buy time for your teammate to get back into goal. That's all you're trying to do, right? If we take this a step back, the difficulty with this is the ball settles there, right? The ball doesn't go literally anywhere. If the ball goes this way a little bit, at least you can play wall and do something. But because it sits right here, you're thinking the exact same thing I was at the same time. This guy's here, I can play wall and hopefully go this way, right? Difficulty is you can see his boost trail. He's already headed that way, which makes this even more difficult. You don't want to hit it super hard because you'll just throw away possession. But both of them are cheated up. They're both about half line and further up. So based upon how you play it, the wall is technically fine. But like 100% ideal situation is read this as fast as possible and try to either get underneath it and hit it this way past both of them and try to play it over here. Ideally, obviously here. But playing wall isn't the worst idea as long as this guy comes back around. And he's been ball chasing, so that kind of scares me. Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. And then your teammate just whiffs, dude. That sucks. That's not on you. Teammate throws away possession again on that. Tries to get first hit. I get it. Super intimidating to be playing against Kuxir too. Oh, that bounce. If you want to recover faster off the wall here, do that wave dash. So this is playing into wall right. He gets you to back off. It's unfortunate to try to read this, but this ball is going to come and bounce and then probably hit awkward in this area. So based upon trajectory, you should know that it's going to come back out. It's not going to roll up. That comes with experience, comes with time to be able to read that. If we take this super slow. So bounces there. It's got enough height to where it's going to hit the wall about this area, right? If you challenge that right away, which is tough to do at top speed. Playing this 50-50 is scary, right? Because if you do, Kuxir is probably going to win it. He's already in a spot to challenge it. Like, he can come across, but because he sees you not hit it, he backs off. That's just Kuxir being a pro. The other thing off this wall, if you want to, is you can jump. Level out your car. So right now you're like this. You can jump off really, really light. Just tap A. Level off and then wave dash if you need to. Or don't, depending on how close the ball is. The difficulty, though, is you want to be facing north and south. Not east-west. Makes it really tough to make a save. The only time it's okay to be facing this way is if you're covering near post. If you're covering near post, it then allows you to challenge this way. But you've got Kuxir trying to take a shot. He's going to put it top left if you're not careful. So try to get off that wall as quickly as possible. You're limiting what you can do, especially if you're not coming in through momentum. Like, falling like that is rough for recovery. Luckily, his shot's off. Kuxir's so dirty up front, man. Reset to Carlo. Good. Going for the boost there is probably the better idea, but I think this is just a lack of trust on your teammate. Your teammate comes across, right? Oh, the boost respawned in the middle of the smoke. Never mind. I was going to say get that corner boost here, but it's actually not up. Normally, I'd be like... Because, like, I instinctively, if that boost is up, will see my teammate move up here, so I can go behind him and get this. But it's not up yet. It literally goes up the second that the demo goes off. So the demo's gone, and now the boost's there. On this touch, mechanical thing, just make sure you get more behind it. You're cutting in way too close. You want to take this a little bit further out, because then you can hit it here rather than here. Hitting it here pushes it this way. Hitting it here pushes it that way. That'll be a clear downfield. This guy's cheat up. Kuxir's going back. I don't know how you still got that, though. Good fake. Way to bait out Kux. The only reason I want you to dump it there is because you don't have any boost. Maintaining possession, you shouldn't win. Retreat on that. So you missed the boost the first time. Happens. As soon as you go for it here, you getting this boost, there is no way you can get to that ball first. At all. There's literally no situation where you can actually get to that. So as soon as you get this boost, rotate out. Your teammate should recognize that you're moving out, and then he should come into challenge. His job is going to be to aerial this after it goes off anyway. You pushing up like that just puts you out of position. Also, don't be afraid to deny the boost from Kux. So, something to learn about a team. Like, your teammate's ball chasing, like, a decent amount. Your job now as a player is not to, per se, play the best rotation or whatever. Your job is simply to support your teammate. The best players in Rocket League, the way that I've ranked up, I'm not good mechanically, but the way that players rank up in Rocket League is not by being a certain playstyle and winning a lot. It's by adjusting to what the team needs, right? And in solo queue, if you're queuing without a friend or a buddy that you can communicate with, like in this example, and in most examples, the best players are ones that can change how their playstyle fits based upon their teammate. So the first couple like minutes of the game, or minute and a half in this case almost, is I'm recognizing my team is ball chasing. And because of that, I'm no longer going to play aggressively. I'm going to play a little bit more passive and enable my teammate to play how he wants to play, so he's comfortable, so he feels relaxed, and then I will support that. Now, if my teammate's extremely passive, he's not challenging the ball, then it is my job to challenge faster. It is there to get to the ball fast. It's supposed to be to cut rotations because you need to still apply that pressure. If he starts complaining about it, then that's when you have that communication of like, hey man, you're playing a little bit passive, we're giving away possession for free, or we can challenge sooner. I'm going to do that. As long as you communicate with them, it doesn't hurt to just type in chat. You might get some flack for it because people, for some reason, don't like criticism or being forward. But in most circumstances, when people are trying to rank up and you say, hey, man, do you mind if I play X certain way? Most of them will be like, yeah, that's fine. So give that a shot. It might help. But on this scenario, your teammate's been playing ball chasey, so I assume he's going to come up and challenge. As soon as you get this boost, back out and then allow him to come in. All right, so you get this boost. You cut up instead. If you were back already, you could have came back and denied this boost from Kux, which is always a good thing. Forcing Kux to be in no man's land. When he has no boost, he has got to get the small boost pads. Will allow you two to move downfield faster. You cut it. Your teammate's still recovering and is closer to the ball anyway. Rather than cutting in, sweep through, take the boost from Kux, and then let him take the ball and support him. Only because he's ball chasey. Otherwise, I like the play. Moving it downfield really quick is not a bad idea. Nice shot. Make sure you work on your kickoff. You're flipping into the ball high, and you're not hitting it straight on either. When you're in the air and you hit the ball here, all the leverage that you have is going to go and put the power underneath you. So when you're doing a kickoff, you want to be as grounded as possible and then jump at the last second. So you're putting all your force at the ball in a certain direction, whether it be this way. Most people try to put themselves between them and the goal as much as possible. Most people, what they'll do for this kickoff is they'll boost for like a second. They get over the boost pad and then they flip forward and boost and they land about here to here. And then they turn last second and jump and try to hit it in this area. That way the ball, when it pushes, the least angle of resistance is on them coming from an angle and will push this way rather than pushing against you or one of these ways. Otherwise, it'll kill. Most people go for cheat up kickoffs. The other thing, if you're going to go for a diagonal kickoff like this, the other thing you can do is do a delay. So do the same tactic where you boost in and jump, but then hit your break real quick and then attack. Because then it'll hit you second and it'll create space between you and the person attacking the ball, which then allows you to push it past too. Delayed kickoffs are really good in solo queue. People just don't expect them. I just don't... I like passes like that where you throw it back to your teammate, but I don't trust my teammate in solo queue. It just isn't a good idea. The other thing I noticed from you, Carlo, is you struggle a lot with having boost at this point. Boost management just seems to be a problem. Now, I've played with you since you've hit Grand Champ, and it's a lot different. This is when you were Champ 2, so good save by him. You're a little too eager on these. Cutting across doesn't give you much time to react to this shot if he turns on it. If you play this wide, you still give your time space between these. You're going here. I say go here. I recommend going through the middle. Cut both. You can still cover back post. You can still move forward with momentum if you need to make a save. But if you cut too close in and he shoots it here, nothing happens. If he shoots it here, nothing happens. Like that last turn at on the second is part of the reason why you want to go a little bit wider. Good patience on that one, waiting for your teammate. Bring this wall. It's a good challenge from Cooks. Go back post, good. A lot of players, if you don't know, anytime they're in a weird spot like this, just make sure you hold your drift key, because then no matter which way you land, you'll carry your momentum through. Instead of stopping. If you just hold your power slide button, you won't lose any momentum on that. Once again, you can't go for this, no boost. Your boost management struggles really hard back here. Wow, that pinch though. Yikes, dude. That's just a good pinch from Cooks. Good old Cooks, man. Way to get above that on the challenge. Careful, I'm playing this mid. But good pass over to your teammate, and it leads him too, which is good. You don't want to play that on top of him. You want to put it to a point where he has to go to. Good patience on waiting for Cooks. Could have denied that corner boost at the same time. The whole point of playing aggressive on offense here is so you can eventually dwindle them down, right? So he goes up to make this play on this ball. This boost here is actually still up, the 100 boost. By challenging this and then having it play across, if you get this boost and deny it from him, your teammate then, when he comes in and makes another challenge, you now roughly have about 45 boosts at that point. Your teammate should have roughly the same amount depending on how much he uses for the aerial. But now this guy has no boost. Kuxir's the only one to make a save. Kuxir's probably going to be able to get it out. But the fact that you deny the boost here means there is basically a 10-second window. That's how long it takes for the 100 boost spawns to come up, where they have to rely on the small boost pads, which are only 12, or 12.3 technically. You're trying to sustain offense, and the way that you can do that is by making it difficult for them to make saves. Easiest ways to do it, challenging early and often, making sure that you catch the boost on rotation, hitting up high and lofted, so they have to expend boost or go on the back wall and drive up rather than using aerials. It's one or the other. But you're basically just trying to dwindle away their boost. Eventually, it makes it easier for you to score because you can get to the ball faster, sooner. You can put shots on target that they just can't save. So make sure you deny those corner boosts while you're up there. Ouch, dude. That sucks. That popped out, and your teammate's facing backwards. Damn, dude. That's on your teammate. The way he challenged that was pretty rough. And then just good transition. The difference and the reason why that was available is because Cooks had faith that his teammate was going to do something. And rather than Kuxir rotating back defensively, which I normally do in solo queue, like Kuxir was here and he could have rotated back around to help out his teammate, but instead he trusts that his teammate who is in net to move up and make a pass downfield. It's the difference between playing with someone who's good and someone who doesn't know what they're doing, or someone that you don't trust, right? When you have somebody in net, most cases in solo queue and as a player, your first instinct rather than moving downfield for a pass is, well, shit, I need to go help them. So you rotate around and you get into a position to help. At a higher level, and as people get better, you start to move into positions to give them space to do something with the ball. So if players here and Cooks has the ball, this player isn't going to rotate back in. He's going to rotate downfield and get open for a pass so Cooks has someone to open it to. Rather than Cooks then moving behind him and supporting him, if he's up here at the ball, Cooks is going to go over here and open for a pass so he can play it back over. Those things change, and that's why Rocket League is very situational. A lot of things that I'm teaching you have different circumstances for every different result. It is entirely situational on what is happening. So it is not a one-size-fits-all. There's a lot of people that play a very distinct style where they think, like, if I do this, this is the right thing to do. When in reality, every circumstance you need to take and receive the information that's being given to you. As a player, if I'm Kuxir and I see him with the ball, there's a guy over here challenging or whatever, Kuxir's now job, if there's a guy challenging over here and this guy's moving here, no, don't pass it to him because this guy can intercept it. Carry the ball. But if there's a guy where you are and this guy's going over here and Kuxir has the ball, then yes, pass it to him. So you need to take in the information and actually understand, like, what is happening in this scenario. Can the other teammate get to the challenge? Is my player in a good place for a pass? What is happening? And make sure you take those into account before you make the play itself. You have to do them split second, though, and that comes better with time. That was a really rough hit. Good effort to get across there. With Kuxir, you have to be decisive. That's something about recognizing who you're playing to. Slow little passes like that are going to allow people like Kuxir to get it. I know that's at Champ 2, it's a little unfair, but if you're going to play up to the level, you have to play quick and decisive. You either have to decide, do I want to go inside and force a 50-50 here with Kuxir, or do I want to play this inside to him? That ceiling shot isn't going to do it. You got to play that quick, fast, and somewhere in this area. Because if you play it like here, this guy will then be here. He should be able to come across and shoot. That little delay in that ceiling, it was enough for Kuxir to get a read. And now go for a demo on that too. If you're rotating back here, get a demo. So that touch, still hesitant on that. You have to jump down and get that right away. But in this scenario, you're going fast enough. Jump across and demo Kuxir, removes all threat, allows him to do whatever he wants afterwards. Not sure if that pass was intentional. Good patience. That was a good read on Cooks. I don't like Cooks' re-jumping. It makes no sense, but... Cooks, what are you doing? What the fuck was that? Can we take a second and talk about this, Cooks? Did he think you were going to pop this up? Why is he in the air right now? The fuck? Hold on. Okay. So he was going to challenge this aerial. Just confused. He was going to challenge this aerial. Because he's facing forwards, he actually half flips and then realizes that you have the ability to take a shot. So he aerials to go for the block. Okay? We're going to put this in super slow-mo. So turns around to go for this because he thinks it's going to be an option for a pass that's going to go across. He can't get to it, right? So you see him break here instead of going forward immediately. Half flip, right? So this is a half flip. Rotates for the half flip. Realizes that you have a chance to take a shot. So he continues to boost an aerial to cut off this angle. Because you could technically flick this inside, but Kuxir's already there. That is a pro to a T. The fact that he dribbled it is even better. That's a pro, man. That all happens in a matter of like 2 seconds, by the way. Anyway. Your teammate's got to make an immediate touch on that. The difficulty is like you didn't intend for pass. So this is where the whole ball chasing of your teammate thing comes into play. This was not supposed to be a pass. If you would have passed it, you would have hit it hard here, which would allow him to put more power on it to play it across. If it was intended to be a pass, he needs to be a little bit wider to give space and power for this to develop. And then you would play it across and then you could shoot it. But because he's close, you could either go for a pinch, try to meet here, have him come here, you go here, and that ball rockets. You'll probably miss. You'll probably hit over here if you do. Your angle needs to be a little bit more this way. But if he's going to do that, he has to make an immediate touch. What I assume you wanted to do is after you get past Cooks is you wanted to play the ball this way, have the ball go here, you go around it, and then flick it. That's what I assume you wanted to do. But your teammate took it from you. And this is why I say playing a little bit more passive and enabling your teammate is going to come into play because otherwise he's just going to take the ball from you anyway. Like that. Go for the boost. Good. Challenge. Good challenge. Man, your teammate's rough, dude. Good save. Having a team like this against someone like Kuxir is really, really tough, dude. Good attempt. Good attempt. The shot angle was good. Go for that. The touch on that was smart. So, well, in previous episodes, we've talked about aerials and how to go for these. You should be able to read this. As soon as this ball hits that, like, as you get more comfortable with aerials and reading these, when the ball gets to about here is when you want to commit to the aerial because you'll know if he can get it or not. And this guy will determine if whatever the hell he's doing. But as soon as this ball goes here, you should be able to read that the ball's going to end up right about this area, right? And then you can aerial. If you're not comfortable, all you're doing is you're jumping and you're going to slowly maintain towards the ball. You don't want to commit too hard because otherwise it'll go past you and you could miss it. But as you get better reading these, you want to go up those as quickly as possible. Get comfortable with doing that too off the back wall. It just makes it better for making defensive plays. The thing that I like about how you touch it is that you don't just boom it. You don't hit it as hard as you can. And the reason why is you want to maintain possession. If you just clear it as hard as you can, Kuxir is going to be back and he's ready to receive that, and then you both are going to be out of position. So by touching it light here, the ball settles here, and it allows you to get another touch afterwards. So that is good. You can see it here, soft touch, allows you to get another one. Unfortunately, it's still a little bit too far out. So get this touch. If you hit that, so the difficulty is the touch here. You hit it with this corner rather than this part. If you hit this directly on, with this it hitting this corner, it pushes out further. If you hit it here, it's going to hit a little bit softer, and it'll land here instead of here, which then allows you to maintain possession and probably go for an air dribble. Here you have to rush and just hit it and go for a challenge. Rocket League's all about those little things. Good patience not to go for that. That's tough, because you cheat up on this, right? And then have to back off, and you get bumped at the same time, and then you double back on it. Good patience. Too bad Kuxir knows there's only 10 seconds. It's unfortunate. It looks like you wanted to go for an air dribble or a ceiling shot, but also wanted to hit it hard. And you kind of got this weird in-between mental state. In this sense, you're just trying to catch this guy off guard, which good luck. He's going to probably save it anyway. But the sooner you can get under that, you want to hit it about here. So it goes up and in. If you just hit it straight on, it's going to go and roll, which Kuxir is going to be able to save by going across. But you want to make this an awkward touch, so it lands in this area. Hit it about here. Get underneath it, put some power into it, and let it just go, if you can. The other option, it looks like you wanted to air dribble it. Don't let him do it. That was an unintentional save, but it actually worked out like insane. That chat was totally unintentional, but it was crazy. That save was actually pretty nuts. A person who would have done this correctly, and this is just a quick aerial. Look how high he is. You have all the time to quick aerial up and cut that off. It was a poor aerial, but of course it was a crazy save, but it wasn't intentional. If you're saying that was an intentional save, you're a liar. Either way, boost management, making sure your touches are a little bit more precise because they're there. The difficulty is learn how to adjust and recognize like what kind of team you're playing with, especially if you're going to solo queue. If you're solo queuing, make sure you recognize like, is he fast? Is he aggressive? Is he passive? What kind of style? Clearly we saw this guy was ball chasing, so take more of the support role and try to set him up rather than playing the dominant performance, because there's a lot of times that you've chose for a dribble or a solo play rather than passing it over. And if this guy's always in a position to ball chase or be there, create a 50-50, draw Cooks out, and then allow this guy to come in, because he's obviously going to be there because he's sniffing your butt the whole time. So big thing though in these earlier matches are boost control. I can tell you, and I can tell the people who are watching this on YouTube, Carlo is now grand champ and has been. Plays a lot faster. Boost management's a lot cleaner. Positioning wise has gotten a lot better too. Just things to learn from at this point. So good job by Carlo.